Good evening. Welcome to the June 6, 2023 combined work session and regular in-person and virtual meeting. The first item on the work session agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance led by the 2023-24 Student Board Representatives Jade McCants and Fernando Santos.
Sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's give Jade and Fernando another round of applause and welcome them to the board. Jade and Fernando, you have big shoes to fill following Salma and Khalid. We look forward to working and serving with you. The second item on the work session agenda is a presentation of the Service to Children Award. And Dr. McGarry, since I'm not in the room, you're going to help me with this one, and then you're going to have some remarks, and then I'm going to have some as well.
No problem. I think a little bit may have been spoiled already, but can we have Dr. Manfre's family come into the room for a second?
Absolutely, please.
Sure. We put your family on the top floor. Man, the whole crew's out. Come on in. So good evening. As Board President Brown said, he wanted to provide these remarks tonight, but he is away at work, but he's also joining the meeting. So I'll provide the remarks. Since 1999, the Service to Children Award has been presented to a wide range of role players within our organization and community for helping shape, protect, and enhance the lives of our most valuable resource, our children. Now in its 24th year, Upper Darby School District continues in the tradition of recognizing the recipient of this prestigious award for their unselfish dedication to our children, serving as a model for inspiration and emulation. We are blessed to work with so many in our organization who exemplify these qualities every day and could very well receive this recognition. It is with great pleasure that the Upper Darby Board of School Directors and the school district recognizes the incredible contribution and continued excellence of Dr. Gregory Manfre by bestowing on him this Service to Children Award for the 22-23 school year. So we can clap. And I promise this won't turn into a roast. This will remain positive comments. Where do I begin? Dr. Gregory Manfre grew up in Stonehurst Hills, perhaps better known as Walnut Park Plaza in Upper Darby Township. He would begin his career in 1992 as an attendance officer working out of Central Registration. He also taught for a short period of time at Monsignor Bonner High School. Soon he would join the teaching staff at Drexel Hill Middle School, teaching social studies from 1993 to 1999. Greg would go on to become a lead teacher at Drexel Hill Middle School. From 1999 to 2006, Greg would assume the position of an assistant principal at Beverly Hills Middle School, Drexel Hill Middle School, and Upper Darby High School. In 2006, Greg transitioned into a central office position as the supervisor of federal programs before taking over as the principal of Primus Elementary School in 2008. After serving as the Primus Elementary School principal, Greg accepted the principal's position at Drexel Hill Middle School from 2010 to 2014. Throughout his time as an educational leader, Greg has had an uncanny ability, truly uncanny, to build relationships with staff, local leaders, colleagues from other districts, and without question, his greatest skill, building relationships with families and students. As a result, Greg earned an opportunity to take on the responsibility as the Director of Student Affairs and overseeing the English Language Learner Program, now known as English Learners, ELs, from 2014 to 2018. Given all of his years of experience as a teacher, assistant principal, and member of the central administrative team, Greg was then asked to lead and become the Director of Secondary Schools from 2018 until 2022. And for a period of time, and he reminds me of this, he took on the responsibilities of both the Director of Secondary Education and Elementary Education without hesitation or request for additional compensation. Throughout each of these new opportunities and in his current role as the Director of Elementary Principals and Elementary Education beginning in 2022, Dr. Manfre has participated in countless, and I mean it, he is one of the administrators in this district that is out regularly, often several nights a week, attending community events, district events, community opportunities to support our parents and families. And I've certainly appreciated that over the years. His charisma and empathy with others is something that has often helped aid families and students who are faced with difficult and life-changing events. His efforts and leadership goes well beyond supporting our schools and our staff. He has been instrumental in the facilities planning process, most especially his support and guidance in helping move the Clifton Heights Middle School project forward. Without Greg, I'm not so sure there were times in those meetings that project would have moved forward as well as it did. He's also helped lead the Aronimink Elementary School addition and renovation project. For over 31 years, Dr. Gregory Manfre has worked to provide the students and families of the Upper Darby School District with the best educational opportunities to reach excellence. His personality and care for people has helped unify our community, most notably during the current Senko and Aronimink merger. Congratulations to Dr. Manfre for earning the 24th Annual Service to Children Award. Before we call Greg up, I know Board President Brown and I think board members wanted to comment, but let's keep it short. I've got an 8 o'clock baseball game. I'm only kidding.
Will do, and I'll start. Dr. Manfre, I apologize for not being able to be there in the room with you and your wonderful family, but I would be remiss if I didn't add my own personal reflections on who you are from my perspective. Dr. Manfre is someone that I've known and admired for many years, long before I became a school board director. I became aware of his excellence when my sons were in elementary school, and they both graduated, so that was a long time ago. I can't think of anyone in the district that has served in more capacities and subsequently served children in so many different ways. You need a principal at any level, elementary or secondary, that can advocate for teachers and children. Greg's your guy. You need a director of elementary education or someone to lead Title I programs. Greg can do that too. I also appreciate that Greg has his own mind and is willing to speak up and not agree with anyone else just because it's the easy thing to do. This courage is apparent, and it's what we need to have someone in leadership who will always do what is in the best interest of children. Lastly, I will mention Greg's versatility because pretty much every time that I'm in his presence, he is working on something different from the last time that I've seen him. That is what you call a go-to guy, and I'm glad that we have Dr. Greg Manfre to go to in order to serve our needs. Congratulations from me and the board on this very worthy and deserving award. Thank you.
I want to say, when we think about in Upper Darby, families that have served this community, we think of the Gentiles, we think of Barbara Benglin, that's the name of it, we think of Dietzler. I was thinking of the football coach from the 90s who was on council. Shingles. And we think of the Manfres. Mark and Greg, who I am at times embarrassed to say, sometimes confused the two, have served this community for a really long time, in a way that demonstrates the deep affection and love they have for this community. So, and I think that's where Greg and Mark get their ability to be brave to say what is right and what is wrong, and despite any possible consequences. And I really admire that about the two of them. And I really do appreciate the service that the years of service that they've given this community. So thank you very much for that.
I just wanted to congratulate you on your years of service to the district. I still remember the day that I sort of formally met you when my daughter was entering Drexel Middle School, and I said, oh, and by the way, I'm running for school board. And he said, oh, are you? and I'm still here, but really seriously, you know, I admire your commitment to the district because sometimes people come and go, and people like you are a true example of what the Upper Darby family is. So thank you.
Okay, one more. Can you guys get back to me?
Why don't you kneel down? Why don't you kneel down?
All right. That's all right.
It's okay to come.
Stop talking now. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
He's not shy of saying a few words.
Thank you.
Good job.
I didn't really want to, but this is a shock to me. I think this, everybody knows that this, in my opinion, is the most prestigious award that the board gives out. And to think about the previous people who received this award is humbling. So I want to thank you all very much.
Board President Brown, I'm being told that Khalid and Selma are both unable to make it this evening, but I do think it's important if we do have some remarks to share. I'm happy to share some, recognizing their service, the two previous school board reps. But Khalid and...
I have some remarks.
Sure.
Dr. McGarry, thank you, and I'll go first, and then I'll let you share your remarks.
Sure.
And I'm sure they'll hear this as you know this meeting is recorded. But Salma and Khalid, thank you for your excellence working and serving on our board, and we appreciate all the information that you brought to us this year. Your reports were always comprehensive, and I thought you gave us valuable insight into what the students were thinking, enjoying, or caring about. We look forward to the wonderful things that you'll do in your very bright future. Thank you.
I'll just say that I know one of them is sick and one of them had work and they couldn't get out of it this evening, the work obligations. But I think when we prepare for graduation this year, the graduating class that we have probably went through some of the most difficult periods of time to go through high school during COVID. And Selma and Khalid have participated in, with Mrs. Simone in the back of the room, many, many, many very intense, serious conversations over the last few years, especially leading into this school year, from COVID to Khalid probably participated in my time in this organization in more high-level public conversations and meetings with the U.S. Secretary of Education, the Pennsylvania Secretary of Education, the Deputy Secretary of Education, several fair funding presentations and speaking engagements he participated in. Selma, always a strong voice, letting me know what she thinks of me and some of the decisions that we've made here as an organization. Discussions on the schedule and the benefits of the high school schedule or the high school scheduling, the changes. Strong advocates for credits, changing of courses, AP. As much feedback as you would want from kids and support from kids. When you're an administrator, it's so important that you can look to students and stay in touch with kids and get honest criticism and feedback from them. They've also been instrumental in moving us forward with our building our own pipeline, our future teacher education program, and in coming up with ideas instead of just going out to put in resources such as metal detection systems. They really felt that another first move should be a stronger mentorship, student mentorship program, so much so that we were the first to market on that. And now there's a House bill giving high school credit to high school juniors and seniors to mentor elementary school students as a course. We already had that up and running before that House bill became a reality, and that's because of the leadership of our students. So we will miss them, but much like many of our previous past school board reps, they always come back and they always give us information. We have former reps that are flying planes and pilots have come back to give back to their kids to do that. So to our new reps, I'm sure we'll hear from you soon. We look forward to you, as Board President Brown's filling some serious shoes over the last several years. We'll be there to help you out, but don't lose your voice for the kids. That's who you represent, the kids in the school district.
Thank you, Dr. McGarry. Before we call tonight's meeting to order, will you please outline the public participation procedure, sir?
Yes, the school district continues to provide opportunities for those that are in person and virtual to participate in meetings. Tonight is a board meeting, legislative meeting, so it is comment only. There is not a question and answer. Our two reps are leaving. I want to let them know this is your last early night. The board meetings are comment only. In order to provide your comments, there are several ways to do it. Those who are in person, if you wanted to provide general comments that take place at the end of the meeting, you would have to have signed in by 7:30. Same for those participating virtually. If you had provided a general comment to be received by 7:30, you could have done so by sending an email to boardmeetingcomments@upperdarbysd.org or phoning it in at 610-789-7200, extension 2000. In either an email or voice message, please leave your name, address, and if it's general comment, or if you wanted to comment on a specific report before the board takes action, they'll listen to the comment, take that into consideration. Anyone who wants to provide a comment in person on a specific report, once the board reads the report into the record and provides comment from the board, they open the comment to the public. You can come to the microphone, provide your name and address and a specific item in a report that you'd like to comment on. Again, this is not a back and forth meeting. Committee meetings are back and forth meetings. I'm happy to provide an update throughout the evening. In-person participants go first, and then we move to virtual participation secondly.
Thank you, Dr. McGarry. The regular in-person and virtual meeting of the Upper Darby School District Board of School Directors will please come to order. There was a closed session this evening from 5:30 p.m. until 7:22 p.m. for matters to be discussed within the limitations for closed deliberations as prescribed by Pennsylvania Act 93 of 1998. For this evening's meeting, there were personnel and litigation matters. Roll call, Board Secretary, Mr. Rogers, please.
Dr. Haig,
Present.
Mr. Desnoyers,
Present.
Mr. Neal,
Present.
Mr. Warsavage,
Present.
Ms. Murphy Mercy,
Present.
Ms. Williams,
Present.
Ms. Mitchell,
Present.
Mr. Fields, Present, Mr. Brown.
Present, and I can hear the proceedings. Thank you, sir. The district posted this evening's agenda to board docs at least 24 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting. Is there a motion to approve that previously posted agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to offer?
Not at this time.
Thank you. The agenda has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying I oppose and state your name for the record. Those abstaining, please signify by saying I abstain and state your name for the record. The motion carried. The minutes of the combined work session and regular meeting of May 9th, 2023, and the special meeting of May 23rd, 2023 are in the hands of each board member and have been made available to the public. I move for their adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? And you'll have to speak up if you do have comments. Are there any comments from the public? And Ms. Buford, you can let me know if there's any comments.
There are no comments from the public.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying I oppose and state your name for the record. Those abstaining, please signify by saying I abstain and state your name for the record. The motion carried. The report of the secretary, please, Director Williams.
Thank you. The report of the secretary is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? Hearing none. Are there any comments from the public?
There are no comments from the public.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying I oppose and state your name for the record. Those abstaining, please signify by saying I abstain and state your name for the record. The motion carried. The report of the treasurer, Director Neal.
Thank you, President Brown. The report of the treasurer is in the hands of each board member, has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? Hearing none. Are there any comments from the public?
There are no comments from the public.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying I oppose and state your name for the record. Those abstaining, please signify by saying I abstain and state your name for the record. The motion carried. So as Dr. McGarry stated earlier, our student representatives are not present, so we will not have a report from them tonight. The budgeted personnel and enrollment reports have been made available to the board and the public and are recorded as part of the record. No vote is required. Now we'll have our committee meeting summaries. We'll now have an update on the May 23rd, 2023 Education and Pupil Services Committee meeting. I'm not sure which director. Is it Director Williams or Director Neal?
Director Neal.
Director Neal will read the summary. A detailed summary of the meeting, including public comments, can be found in board docs. Director Neal.
Thank you, President Brown. There were 3 items. 2 were informational. 1 requires board action tonight. The first one was the wellness policy annual update. Dr. Yushon provided an update on the work accomplished by the Wellness Committee over the course of the 2022-2023 school year. The presentation included information regarding assessment initiatives in accordance with Policy 246. The second item, also informational, Ms. Elgart reviewed the K-12 guidance audit report. The district utilized American Rescue Plan and elementary secondary school emergency relief funds to perform the audit in the fall of 2022. The third item was policy. We reviewed policy 137, policy 201, and policy 206. There were multiple sub-items for policy 137, point 1, point 2, and point 3. There were no public comments at that meeting. President Brown.
Thank you very much, Director Neal. We will now have an update on the Finance and Operations Committee meeting. Director Warsavage will read the summary. A detailed summary of the meeting, including public comments, can be found in board docs. Director Warsavage.
Thank you very much, President Brown. We had 2 items on the agenda that evening. The first was informational, and that is a 2023-2024 budget update. The district administration provided an update on the 2023-2024 budget. The presentation revisited timelines, historical data, and potential changes to the final budget. The second item on the agenda that evening was a use of facilities review. Now, it says board action, but just to clarify, the board action, as I understood it, was for the administration to continue having relevant stakeholder conversations to see if there are ways to modify that policy. Or, Dr. McGarry, you want to clarify that?
Yeah, if I may, I just want to let you know that there'll be a user group meeting this Thursday, and then we look to provide an update on the board's directive to come back with information before June 20th.
Excellent. And there were 2 items for, 2 pieces of public comment. The first person commented on agenda item number 2. The speaker expressed concerns about paying 100% of the cost and people who do not show up for their reservation. The person also suggested that people are not members of UDSD, suggested that people are not members of UDSD and should rent at their own school, recommended intramural sports during school time. Another person also had a comment on agenda item number 1. That speaker expressed concerns about hiring 24 more people and an adjustment to the existing position. There was another comment on agenda item number 2. The speaker shared the current process has been excellent, has concerns about the fee structure, asked what organizations should do with the increased fees per family/child, and they suggested a restructuring to work for everyone. All other details are on board docs.
Thank you, Director Warsavage. Next is the Instruction and Curriculum Report. Director Vice President Fields.
Thank you. The instruction and curriculum report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? Hearing none, are there any comments from the public?
There are no comments from the public.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying I oppose and state your name for the record. Those abstaining, please signify by saying I abstain and state your name for the record. The motion carried. The personnel report, Director Mitchell, please.
Thank you. The personnel report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. Before I move for its adoption, I did want to congratulate our three retirees. Thank you for your years of service to the district. You will be missed, but we wish you a safe and healthy retirement. I also would like to congratulate three important people that are here in the room. The first one is Mr. Daniel Kitchen. He will be joining the team as the Director of Technology. You have big shoes to fill, but I hear you have a lot of experience, and Mr. Kitchen is right here. Thank you so much for joining the Upper Darby School District. And then I want to congratulate the new team at Stonehurst Hills Elementary School, and that is Desmond Chisholm and Ernest Patrick. And they will be serving as the principal and vice principal of Stonehurst Elementary School. We cannot wait to see all that you're going to do over there. So thank you for serving our children and being part of the Upper Darby School District family, all three of you. Thank you. Congratulations. With that being said, I move for the adoption of the report as stated.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? Hearing none, are there any comments from the public?
Lee Jordan, 90 Pilgrim Lane, Drexel Hill. Just in the personnel report, I guess I was shocked and actually saddened to see that Chris Puglisi is leaving us. I know Chris, and Chris was somebody that, you know, every time I ran into him, the glass was always half full, and he was so happy and just such a feel-good person. So hopefully he's listening to this or watching this. We'll go back and see this, but Chris, you will definitely be deeply missed.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other comments from the public?
There are no other comments from the public.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying I oppose and state your name for the record. Those abstaining, please signify by saying I abstain and state your name for the record. The motion carried. The policy report, Director Desnoyers.
The policy report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. Before I move for its adoption, I'd like to make a brief comment. The policy report second reading under consideration at tonight's meeting includes 7 policies on which the board is taking action. Policy 255, Educational Stability for Children in Foster Care, is one of the 7 policies and is being retired. Policy 255 is being retired because in the March 14th, 2023 board meeting, the requirements in Policy 255 were added to Policy 251, Students Experiencing Homelessness, Foster Care, and Other Educational Instability. This makes Policy 255 redundant, therefore the board is retiring it. In order to retire Policy 255 at this meeting, the board must waive the multiple readings requirement found in Policy 003, which it is doing solely for Policy 255. A resolution to this effect can be found at the top of the policy report, second reading. Therefore, by voting to approve the policy report second reading, board members are approving the following. First, the waiver of multiple readings requirement for Policy 255 only. And second, the listed action, revision or retirement for the 7 policies on the report. I would also like to note that there have been no further revisions to the 6 policies presented at the Educational People Services Committee meeting 2 weeks ago from the revisions presented at that time. With that, I move for the adoption of the policy report. Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. And thank you, Director Desnoyers, for explaining that and walking us through it. Are there any comments from the board? Hearing none, are there any comments from the public?
There are no comments from the public.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying I oppose and state your name for the record. Those abstaining, please signify by saying I abstain and state your name for the record. The motion carried. The supplies report, Director Warsavage.
Thank you, President Brown. The supplies report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? Hearing none, are there any comments from the public?
There are no comments from the public.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying I oppose and state your name for the record. Those abstaining, please signify by saying I abstain and state your name for the record. The motion carried. The transportation report, Director Williams.
The transportation report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? Hearing none, are there any comments from the public?
There are no comments from the public.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying I oppose and state your name for the record. Those abstaining, please signify by saying I abstain and state your name for the record. The motion carried. The facilities, the use of facilities, and the donation report, Director Murphy Morrissey.
The facilities report, the use of facilities report, and the donation report are in the hands of each board member and have been made available to the public. I move for their adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? Hearing none, are there any comments from the public?
Lee Jordan, 90 Pilgrim Lane, Drexel Hill. I just wanted to thank on the donation report, Mr. Rick Shibley for donating $1,000 to support the Aronimink PBS program. I think it's really great when people in the community do give back like that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment, and thank him for that donation. Are there any other comments from the public?
There are no other comments from the public.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying I oppose and state your name for the record. Those abstaining, please signify by saying I abstain and state your name for the record.
President Brown?
Yes.
I wanted to abstain partially from the use of facilities report. I have to be a vendor on that piece. The balance of the report I do approve of.
Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. Understood. No other abstaining. So the motion carried. Okay, that takes us to the Finance and Budget Report. Director Dr. Haig.
The Finance and Budget Report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Second?
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board? Hearing none, are there any comments from the public?
There are no comments from the public.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying I oppose and state your name for the record. Those abstaining, please signify by saying I abstain and state your name for the record. The motion carried. That takes us to our collateral assignment reports. We'll start with Delaware County Community College, Director Vice President Fields.
Board President Brown, no report at this time.
Thank you. The DCIU, I think you stated already, Director Mitchell, that the meeting is tomorrow. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay,
So I'll
thank
send
you.
out the summary after the meeting.
Thank you very much. Legislative Council, Director Warsavage, is there a meeting?
I don't believe that there will be any more meetings for the rest of the school year, though I do know a few weeks ago, quite a few of us went to the legislative breakfast,
Yes.
Part of that was highlighted in a committee meeting that we recently had where we highlighted the unfair balance of charter school, cyber charter school tuition. Did any other board members want to make comment about their experience at the legislative breakfast? Safe to say we all had a really good time interfacing with all of our stakeholders there.
I just think it's important that we have that kind of dialogue with our legislators. Those are the ones that can impact what we're trying to do and make sure we get fair funding for our students. So I think while it was enjoyable, I think it's more important that they hear from us directly what our needs are and how the inequities of the funding that's in place now. So thank you for that, Director War-Savage. Mendenhall Tyson Scholarship, I think there's some happy people already, Dr. Haig. I'm not sure, but
Yes.
do you have?
Yes.
Okay.
So our seniors were honored, including the Mendenhall Tyson Scholarship recipients, and they were honored well on Thursday. But I want to just take a moment and say a little bit about our 3 recipients because they are really incredible.
Please.
Faiza Ansari has been involved, as so many of these, all of these students have been involved in incredible activities, has been involved in service and volunteering, the Royal Crest Poetry Club. She's going to Jefferson and is going to be a dentist, so that's Faiza Ansari. The second recipient is Ni Lang. Ni came to this country in 2015 and is the first from her family to graduate from high school. She is one of the founders of the HOSA Future Health Professionals group and has been the captain of the varsity tennis team. She is going to UPenn. And then finally, Harinder Rakra has been, again, involved in so many activities, newspaper, band and drumline, volunteering at the library. His interests are in public health, wants to make nutrition and health support accessible to everyone. And he is going to either Penn State or Pitt. At the time that I got information, we didn't know for sure. But all of these students, they're doing incredible things, and I'm so glad that our community is supporting them in this way, and just want to honor them for their amazing achievements.
Thank you very much, Director Dr. Haig, for giving us that great information about our students. I was at that award ceremony, and it was a lot of happy people there. Upper Darby is phenomenal, giving out so much scholarship money to help so many different students. So I think we're to be commended as a district for doing that. I don't know a lot of districts that gives out, our community that gives out the amount of scholarships that we do. So thank you for that, for pointing that out. Home and School Director War-Savage.
I do not have an update at this time, but Dr. McGarry, did you have anything to add?
Just that in keeping what we promised we would do with the home and school, after the budget passes, we'll provide an update. And the last home and school meeting, the home and school asked us to keep them up to date on staffing going into next school year. And I promised the superintendent student advisory group will be meeting with them as well throughout the summer to keep the kids up to date on staffing as well in the school district.
Thank you, Dr. McGarry. PSBA, I don't have anything. Director Desnoyers, do you have anything, or Dr.?
Yeah, just
Okay.
something small. This is Director Desnoyers. PSBA is holding a budget update session tomorrow, a virtual budget update session tomorrow. I will be attending, and I'll report anything I have at the meeting on the 20th.
Thank you, Director Desnoyers. Thank you. Policy liaisons, Dr. Desnoyers or Director Neal?
This is Director Desnoyers again, just working, have had conversations with administration following the administration's presentation on the use of facilities policy 2 weeks ago, and I will be attending the youth group meeting on Thursday. I'll report back to the board how that goes.
Great. Thank you, Director Desnoyers. Appreciate that. Communication, Director Dr. Haig or Director Mitchell?
Real quick, this next communication that we send out there will be none in July because the board does not meet in July. I just want to remind the public of that. I would recommend, I know we have a lot already in our report, that we not send it out until after we approve the final budget, just so that there's just one final communication, if that's okay with the rest of the board and Dr. Haig.
I think that's a great suggestion. I'm on board with that. Anything else for communication?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Upper Darby Arts and Education Foundation, Director Murphy Morrissey.
There's no report at this time.
Thank you. Okay, is there any old business from board members? Okay, moving on to new business from board members.
1 second, because this is our final, this is Director Mitchell. This is our final board meeting of the year besides our budget hearing. I just want to thank all of our staff for your tenacity throughout this school year. You have done phenomenal work. The boots on the ground, the people that are in the administration, the people driving our buses, the people feeding our kids, the crossing guards, everyone. So thank you so much for your commitment to this district this year.
Well said. Thank you, Director Mitchell. Any other new business?
Mr. Brown, this is Mrs. Rogers. I just want to make one announcement while we're here for, as
Sure,
Director Mitchell
sure.
referenced, this being our last official school board meeting. We do still have our committee meeting on June 20th, which will be held here at the high school boardroom. Moving into July, we do not have scheduled meetings at this time, but our plan, so long as schedule stay on track, is to hold our first board meeting in August at the new administration building at 8201 Lansdowne Ave. If the schedule stays on track and we're prepared to have the meeting in August, all future meetings would then be held there unless otherwise noticed. We will send out proper notification, through the paper, advertisements, the district website. We'll put it, all over to make sure that we're clearly communicating with the community that the location has changed for the August meeting. But I just wanted to put that out there now, and then we'll announce it again at the June 20th meeting that would be likely the last meeting at this location in this boardroom.
Mr. Rogers, thank you for that information, and thank you for you and your entire team and everyone who had a role in helping us get to our wonderful soon-to-be new building and new home for our board meeting. So thank you for your work. You've kept us informed throughout the process, so thank you for that. We are now at the time for the public hearing. We will call on Upper Darby School District residents who signed in to address the board in the order in which they signed in, followed by emailed and phoned comments. We would ask that you come forward, give your name and address, and present your comments in the 3-minute time limit. In accordance with Policy 903, the time allotted for general comments, both in-person and submitted comments, will not exceed 1 hour.
Thank you. Lee Jordan, 90 Pilgrim Lane, Drexel Hill. So I was, just a comment about Policy 707. So I was at the committee meeting on May 23rd, and I thought it was a great meeting, and there was a lot of good dialogue and discussion from our youth leaders and from the board and from administration. And, the reoccurring theme, I think what I kept hearing is, how they were surprised by the dollar amount on the invoices that they received. And I know you're all, you're going to meet and relook this, but something maybe the board can consider is, maybe for the invoices that were issued, maybe make an exception this time and have the youth groups pay what they have or what they can pay, and then, work out all the kinks and stuff about getting billed for, like, not showing up to the facilities and things like that. But that's something that, I'm trying to explain to the public, that the board, sets the policy, and any comments or anything that people should come to the board meetings and reach out, because, you set policy, and Dr. McGarry, the board, you work for the board. So, I was trying to explain the process to the community. And also, I believe this is Dave Olson's last meeting. So I just want to say that I don't think these meetings will like ever be the same because he's the person that always greets you when you come in. And I guess he's in the hallway probably with water, but anyway, I just want to wish him the best of luck after 30 years in the district.
Joanne Namavong, 133 North Pennock. I'm coming tonight to talk about, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Josh Peterkin, who took over the principal role for this class, this graduating class in, I guess, last June or July. So in a very short time, he had to get to know 1,000 kids, and he did it from day one. I mean, he got to know everybody. He was there for everyone. In addition, he's such an inspiration to the kids. He gives positive communications all the time. He's always uplifting. He's not like saying, hey, you better get that done or else. He's like, how can we help you get this done? So also, besides Josh Peterkin, AJ Bianchi has been amazing as the activities director for the senior class. And I don't know all of the senior class staff because I know the senior center staff. Because I think it's, people have come and gone. But they've all done an amazing job. And I really do appreciate, especially in this time where we're drawn to the close and the kids are trying to get college things all underway, that the communications continue, upbeat communication. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Board President Brown, that's all the signed-in comments, and I do not believe there are any virtual comments. And I got confirmation from Rhonda on that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Is there a motion for the adjournment of the meeting?
So
moved. Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Meeting adjourned. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.